Currently ranked the WBC #2 World Super Middleweight contender. Please welcome the former light heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Road Warrior, introducing Glenn Johnson. And his opponent across the ring is the defending world champion, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks, known as boxing's pride of Nottingham, England. He weighed in at 167.5 pounds with a record of 27 wins, only 1 defeat. He has 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the reigning and defending two-time WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, introducing Carl the Cobra Froch. Once again, a referee in charge, now to give instructions, Earl Brown.
Glenn, Carl, you've received your instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times, protect yourselves at all times. Anything from here down will be considered low. Anything from here down will be considered low. Gentlemen, let's do it.
So we are ready for the WBC World Title and the Super 6 World Boxing Classic semifinal. What a win this would be for Glenn Johnson. In 2 fights, he wins a World Championship and has a chance to go after Andre Ward's belt and the Super 6 World Boxing Classic title. Meanwhile, Carl Froch has taken on all comers. He continues to step up his skill level. He has the heart of a warrior, but this may be his toughest fight against a true warrior in Glenn Johnson. Round 1.
The first round will be fascinating. How much will Glenn Johnson attack? Will he be attacking with more abandon than we think? This is a lot of questions here, and again, we mentioned the ring. It is monstrously big, which could help Froch.
Yeah, when I look at this ring, I call it a Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler ring, because, you know, Sugar Ray needed distance back in the day.
And Al, in your opinion, almost comparable media careers between Marvin Hagler and Glenn Johnson.
Yeah, in some respects, you know, people didn't give Hagler as much as great as he was. Didn't always get the breaks when it came to decisions in some cases, and maybe wasn't thought of as big a superstar as he was.
Glenn Johnson, yesterday in our meeting, as he wears his Miami Heat boxing trunks, looks like LeBron could wear them right now himself. He was so calm, Antonio, so relaxed, almost jocular in his responses to what he can do against Carl Froch.
Yes, he was, and I was expecting him to be that way. But before the fighters meeting ended, Carl Froch pulled me to the side and he asked me a question straight up. How did I beat Glenn Johnson?
Oh, interesting.
That led me to believe that he had some concerns about fighting this tough guy, Glenn Johnson.
A very tactical first round, and Glenn Johnson has been careful how he's attacked, and Froch has not thrown a million counter punches either at this point.
Well, Antonio, did you tell him how to beat Glenn Johnson? What did you say?
I told him what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? I gave him angles. I was up under all his big shots all night long, but I didn't run. And right now it looks like Carl Froch has chosen to meet Glenn Johnson head-to-head.
But a different pace, Al, for Glenn Johnson at the start of this fight than we've seen in the past?
Generally, yes. And he might be taking a round to figure him out, but he's certainly not attacking with as much abandon as we usually see.
A relaxed Carl Froch, stiff jab landing on the chin of Johnson. That backs him up. And the Cobra, Antonio, as you told us the other day, he is slick.
Yeah, he is real slick right there. He's comfortable. And it's important for a fighter to be able to stand in the heat and also be comfortable at the same time, relax. But I tell you what, Glenn Johnson has a monstrous right hand. You know he knocked out Alan Green with it, and he also stretched Roy Jones with it. Right now, he's licking his chop, looking at Froch's left hand so low.
And it's that looping overhand right, a punch that was very effective for Mikkel Kessler in his comeback win tonight. in Denmark. Round 1 scheduled for 12, the super middleweight WBC world title and Super 6 semi. And that takes us to the keys for tonight.
Well, Carl Froch wants to stay at long range, use his jab and right hand. He was able to control the distance perfectly in round 1. Now he drops his left hand, which Antonio pointed out, and it's the overhand right that will try and get there for Johnson. The Froch uppercut has been in mothballs during this tournament, but I think it will resurface again this evening. Now for Johnson, got to get on the inside. Didn't do that in the first round. And he's got to throw those double left hooks to the body and head. And then there's that overhand right that Antonio referenced. He could hurt Froch with that punch.
All right, the quietest man in our broadcast team right now is Andre Ward, the champion. As you take a look at his picture, coming off the big win against Arthur Abraham. First round, what have you seen, champ, between one of the men that you will face in your next fight?
I like Glenn Johnson in that round. I think he was inching closer. He was just missing with that big right hand. And I think he's got Carl Froch a little confused at the moment.
Were you surprised at Glenn Johnson's pace? He usually starts a little bit quicker.
Well, this Carl Froch is a solid puncher, and he's just got to be careful. I looked at Glenn Johnson when he came out. He was very dry. He's sweating good now, but he was dry. So I don't know if he was just trying to warm up or what it was, but I think that was his round.
And champ, when we talked in the dressing room before the fight, you were concerned with Glenn Johnson's weight and how that could affect him.
Well, reason being is that he didn't really have a tough fight with Alan Green. And now I'm looking at this pace. This is not going to really press or stretch Glenn Johnson. He can go at this pace all night long. I thought Froch would come out, put the jab, be more aggressive to really stretch Glenn Johnson. He's comfortable in there right now.
Glenn Johnson jogging yesterday on the Boardwalk here in Atlantic City at 42 years old. Didn't have problems making weight. He said, I'm a hard worker. This is what I do all the time. I just wanted to shake it out and get loose.
Early in this fight, Glenn Johnson said, I've got to get to the body. He's starting a little bit now with some jabs to the body. There, you see that? He wants to work the body of Froch early, so there's not a lot of movement.
And as you mentioned, Antonio and Al, Carl Froch keeps that left hand dangerously low for a nice right-handed puncher like a Glenn Johnson.
And Jermaine Taylor knocked him down with the right hand.
Carl Froch has fought a murderous schedule. He beat Jean Pascal in Nottingham, England, then came all the way to the United States, was knocked down by Jermaine Taylor and ended up stopping Taylor late to retain his title. He started the Super 6, won a close decision against Andre Durrell, then lost a war against Mikkel Kessler. Right hand landing for Johnson as Carl Froch steps off, and then he performed brilliantly against Arthur Abraham.
It looks like Carl Froch is opening up a little bit here. He's landed a crisp left hook, but again, I think Glenn Johnson is just a little bit too close right now. I'll be nervous.
Well, he hasn't been able to get right on the inside where he likes to dig those body shots, but here he is. Now, this is where he needs to work right there, Johnson. That's what he likes.
And Froch ties him up, tries to work the free hand.
Expect to see Froch hold a lot on the inside.
Froch told us if Johnson comes in, he's going to use his jab, work angle, step off, throw the left hook under and over, and try to set up the straight right hand down the middle. Now a looping right hand. Here's a left hook to the body under. Andre.
He's going to try and hit you around the body and come round the side with that right hook. And that's what I'm asking to do now is 1-2 hook and then beat him to it when you're inside. Okay? But ideally you hit him with a reach move, you think, well, you've got to counter him. Okay? You've got to counter him, okay? Listen to me. Jab, right hand.
He's going to hit it. Because right now he's comfortable. He thinks all there is is right. He thinks all there is a jab to the body, but when you sneak that right hand, when you feel comfortable, it's going to pay off. And the only thing is, when you get him up against the rope, be careful not to get over anxious and fall in. All right, because you know once he gets up against the ropes, he panics. And when he panics, he's going to do a couple of movements. Don't fall in. Go ahead, champ. You're looking good. Keep that jab out. Just watch his right hand over your jab. That's all you got to watch out. His jab over
That,
your
of course,
hand.
is Orlando Cuellar, the fine trainer of Glenn Johnson, who was up for Trainer of the Year this year, although Freddie Roach won it, which he seems to do every year. And Robert McCracken, the very fine trainer also of Carl Froch.
McCracken 33-2 as a professional, the former British Commonwealth middleweight champion, retired in 2001 after losing to Keith Owens of Washington, D.C. Now some good jabs to start.
Yeah, I was going to say, Glenn Johnson discovered that punch here right now.
I feel like the tide right now is going to change. These guys right now is going to draw that line in the sand, and they're getting ready to fight right now.
Well, Glenn Johnson's made the difference, right? He has decided really to attack now, so I think he's going to turn the fight on now.
Andre, your thoughts about what you're seeing at the start of the third?
Well, I agree with Antonio. Things are starting to heat up, and Carl Froch is not a pure boxer. He's really a fighter, so he's getting forced to fight right now. So we're going to see how he responds in this moment.
Nice stiff jab by Glenn Johnson as he stalks, goes to the body with the jab, keeping his guard up high. Froch got the right hand through. Froch now starting to move a little bit. Johnson invading his space. And that's what he does, Antonio. You know.
Yes, he does. And you can see he's applying the pressure. That's that right hand that we talked about earlier.
And that hurt Froch. The right hand hurt Froch.
You know, Froch has really been winning this round with his punches, but you felt Johnson was going to land something important, and he did.
Glenn Johnson told us that he is going to knock Froch out. It won't take him long. Froch's hands all the way down, below his waist. Could he be tired?
Like I said in the opening, it's not about skill, but it's about will. And right now, Glenn Johnson is forcing his will on Froch. He's fighting a fast pace. I don't know if Froch is ready for this one tonight.
Glenn Johnson hired a nutritionist, lost the weight, and put on muscle at 42. He said he stopped eating bad food. He got serious because he knows that this is his opportunity, especially, Al, when you consider the landscape at 168.
Yeah, this is his career is reborn. Now, let's remember, Carl Froch has landed a lot of punches here, so he's still doing well offensively, but you get the feeling that Glenn Johnson, as we said, is imposing his will. And now he's starting to work the body, Glenn Johnson, which is important.
Froch looking over into his corner at Robert McCracken.
Break, no budget.
And Andre, how much has that Glenn Johnson jab to the body, right to the solar plexus, affected Carl Froch?
Well, that's a body shot. You know, a lot of people underestimate that shot. I use that shot a lot. It's a body shot from long range. But even more than that, the jab from Glenn Johnson to the nose of Carl Froch is it's paying dividends right now.
This is a good fight. Both men landing big shots.
Left hook by Froch as he pivots, and that's the end of the round. It's starting to heat up here in Atlantic City, folks. One of the legendary places for